it's just Havoc and Dallas. Just like, okay, you guys are like they're like in their own league almost.
Ultimate Texas
Corpus.
Institute.
Uh,
Subscribe,
merch.
subscribe.
Buy our shirts.
Yeah. Open.
Open.
I'm open.
We're so fucking
Nice.
back.
Yeah, we are so back.
Sam, are you beer
Hell
for
yeah.
life?
Fuck you.
Is there a story here?
Someone else can. God damn it.
Welcome to the I'm Open pod with Sam, Andrew, Ryan, and Joe. We are so back after missing last week due to extra diuretic circumstances, but welcome back. We've got a lot to go over. We've got a big tier list, some huge games that happened this week, like one big game that happened last week. So if our gracious host will finish chugging and bring up the tier list, let's get into it.
Sam, are you doing what you did last time where our faces disappeared, or are we all good?
They should not disappear.
Awesome. We don't want to not show our fans our faces. It's like our best quality.
It's so cold.
All right, who has anything to start with? Because I've got a lot.
I don't know. Union's good, I guess.
Union might be solid.
Yeah, they just lost to the Cats.
Yeah, and
Oh,
they beat
yeah.
Madison. Is that right? Were those the two games that they played?
And then
But they also beat the Soul last week.
Soul's bad. Get Soul out of A tier. I feel like okay. Here's my gut reaction. Glory up to A tier. Glory is like
Yeah.
close to S tier, but just like top of A tier. I don't know. And then I think the Breeze is at the bottom. Them and Hustle, it's debatable.
I think the Hustle certainly deserve to be higher.
I think the Hustle are above the Glory still.
What do we think about
Yeah.
Phoenix? Are we time to combine them because they just showed them true selves into one game?
Did they though?
Yeah. Let's talk about. I need a new beer. Fuck you, Joe.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Did anyone watch that game?
No.
No, I didn't watch a minute. I watched a bunch of games today that I missed, and I was like, I could watch that one. And I was like, I don't want to watch that at all.
Who tweeted during the game the score with
Not
the
I.
like no comment?
Gotta be
That
Sam.
must have been Sam.
Yeah.
I was gonna reply and be like, it's okay, I'll say it. Philly fucking sucks, or like something like that. But I like typed it out, and then I was like, but if they're not gonna win, but if they win, I'm not gonna say anything. So I deleted my tweet, and I'm glad that my restraint was rewarded. That's crazy. I didn't watch the game, but that's crazy that they came back.
Yeah.
I feel like that was hot birds and cold birds just all in the span of one game. I don't think that like they have to beat a good team for us to like reward that shit. You know what I mean?
That's why I was saying, do we just get rid of the hot birds and cold birds and just move them into like like the aviators tier or something?
Yeah, that's definitely not like B tier behavior. But it was a sick comeback, and a win is a win.
I kind of like them being in the Gorpus tier.
There's something about them that's still so Gorpus.
Yeah.
I agree. I think. Sorry, I could hear you guys the whole time if that wasn't clear. So I'm not just coming out of nowhere. I think I agree that Gorpus is where cold birds belong, and I do see the merit of combining them, but I'm fine just making the actual hot birds worse
Cool. Love that.
and
Yeah.
leaving
Keep
the
Corpus
Gorpus.
tier.
Yeah.
So we're penalizing them for winning.
Yes. Well, no, we're penalizing the hot birds because like
Okay.
And also for getting clapped by New York last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, true. They got clapped. Yeah, we missed that. Okay. Yeah. Bring him down. Move him to C.
yeah.
That's C.
Wait, why are there two? Oh, I'm so confused. I
Oh,
missed
you
all
missed
the
it.
C's.
Yeah, you were
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
basically we didn't know where to put Central, and then we just kind of put them all in the middle, and then it felt wrong to have other teams with them in C, so we just broke it
Split it
out.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I got you. Man, they're gonna be mad that we moved them down after they won, but whatever. I don't
Our
care.
logic is sound though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
We didn't move the cold birds down, just the hot birds.
I think
Yeah.
they probably lose to all those teams above them. So
yeah, I do agree.
yeah. Okay. Any other major shuffles that need to happen?
I think the central
Um,
needs to be reworked a little bit. Um,
Yeah, Madison needs to get
do
knocked down. They
actually
lost.
wait. Do you guys think DC and Empire should be in the same tier?
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's
I'm
kind
glad
of
you
how I
said
feel.
something. I had some thoughts on DC. I don't know if we wanted to go
Let's
to
just talk
Central
DC
or
real quick. Let's talk
oh,
DC.
okay. I watched a good chunk of the Boglo DC game that the Breeze lost. And I think the Boston has leapfrogged DC clearly. And it's not even that DC like looks that bad, but I do think that like the losses that they had, like roster wise and the depth, I just think that's coming through, like they lost some really, really good players and they're still a good team, but I don't know, the additions that Boston made and the way that they looked in that game, they're just they're better than they're the team to beat in the East right now. They are, and they've earned that,
Yeah.
they've beaten everybody that they needed to. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe DC just needs to be brought down. Like, yeah, like you guys said, like next to the Empire, maybe above the Summit. But yeah, I don't know. I think DC got knocked down a peg for sure.
Yeah, I think DC and Boston both looked good. Boston just got break after break, like throwing to the break side. Like they broke the defense like at will, basically. They
Yeah.
were just anytime they wanted to, they could just go over the top or getting around. And it was working every time. And I think they only had 10 turnovers and DC only had 12 turnovers. And I watched this game and I counted two of DC's turns were end of quarter, two of them were drops. So that's 8 throwing errors, I guess. Um, and so like DC certainly played well, but they didn't look like they could do anything that they wanted, and that's kind of what Boston looked like.
Yeah. They just looked super dynamic on offense. Like they were working the break side as much as they wanted to. And Babbitt is huge, but like, those guys that have kind of been mainstays like Sadok, Cable, you got Tanner Johnson Go that was back on the roster. I don't know what the deal with that is. Like, is he gonna play a lot? I mean, he completely changes the outlook of that offense. I
Yeah.
mean, they are the team to beat as long as they have that like personnel and they play the way they were playing. So yeah, I was really impressed
Yeah.
just
I
by how
think
their offense looked.
I think there's that buy-in that we've been like waiting on from them.
Yeah.
And it kind of catalyzed by Babbitt getting added to the roster.
Yeah.
But yeah, Orion Cable being done with college and being back on the team is like huge for them.
A couple
Literally and
stats.
figuratively.
A couple stats from that game. Babbitt had more throwing yards than receiving yards, which is the second time that's ever happened.
Whoa.
I'm glad you looked up how many times that happened because that was my next question.
Yeah, it happened one time last year, also against DC. Yeah,
Damn.
not the game where he had like a ton of scores, the
Yeah.
other game. And then also for DC, just like also like to emphasize how well they all played individually. There was only one person on the team that had 2 turnovers. Jacques Nissen, who this was his first weekend of playing. Everybody else, they either had 1 turnover or no turnover. So I think DC can take a lot out of that game. But yeah, Boston looked good.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing of like DC losing the game. It was just like Boston just kind of outplayed them. They were just a little bit better, a little bit more stingy, and took advantage of the mistakes a little bit better. Just like in every little way, they just kind of edged them out. It was a good game. Evenly matched, but yeah, I think DC is down a peg until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Is that cool?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Alrighty.
Another really funny thing about the East versus like the South or something is this Austin Carolina game had 40 turnovers between the two teams combined, and Philly Toronto had 30 total turnovers between the two teams. I just found that so interesting, especially because like you'd assume it's high because there was like one team scoring and the other not, but yeah, like all of these South and Central games have like, well, have tons of turnovers is what I was gonna say, but there were actually a couple of Central games this week that had like single digit turnovers for both teams. But I'll talk about that later when we get to the Central.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. I think we could move to the Central now because that is like the one sort of link I feel like we have from the Central to the East is the Toronto like Pittsburgh game, which is like kind of super confusing how that game ended, and then seeing what Pittsburgh is doing within the division. I kind of have no idea what's going on.
Can I just like for our audience in general? I think I just looked at all the games. I want to try to recap the 5 games that happened that are like Central related. So basically, Pittsburgh got clapped by Toronto, and then Pittsburgh clapped the Alley Cats, and then the Alley Cats beat the Union, and also the Union beat the Soul, and
The Union beat the Rascals.
The Union beat the Rascals. And did the Rascals beat anyone in the last couple weeks?
I don't think the Rascals have beaten anybody.
Okay, but they beat Minnesota like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's why we moved them up for one game. So I
Right.
think, but they lost to Chicago by 1. Like that was a close game. I
They're
think
3-2.
the Rascals.
The Rascals beat the Thunderbirds week 1.
They
beat the
clapped
Thunderbirds by a
Thunderbirds.
lot, and then they lost to the Union by 1 and the Wind Chill by
Minnesota
4.
Which basically leads me to my point. And my point is Central tier is a mess. I don't think we need to spend too much time in it. I think we've clarified that the Rascals are going down a little bit, but like no idea what to do with the rest of it.
Pittsburgh at the top.
Pittsburgh at the top because they had
no
one good game against the Alley Cats. I feel like we gotta, put
and because they
Union
beat Minnesota.
Oh, Pittsburgh at the top. Cool. I'm fine with that.
Fuck,
And
I guess they have to be. Oh God.
Union
the
beat
Union beat them.
Oh, wait.
Oh God.
The Union
lost
beat
to the
them,
Alley Cats,
and
got
the
clapped by
Union beat the
Pittsburgh.
Soul.
Love
But
it.
we-
Leave it. Love
Here,
it.
I think no matter what, we need Chicago before Minnesota, so we have in there because I don't understand what's going on.
No, we need
Nice.
Madison to.
Or we
move
could have
up.
rum.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We need some rum.
Rum.
Some
All right,
spiced
excellent.
rum.
Wait, I don't understand why the Union have dropped to 4th. The Union lost to the Alley Cats by 1 point. They beat the Rascals by 1 point. They beat the Havoc and they beat the Soul. And then they only lost to Minnesota by 2.
But it's spelled Erm. Erm and Rum, I'm fine with both.
Yeah, kind of works too, because it also expresses confusion, I think.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know about this tier list.
All right, I guess I'm fine with that.
Amazing.
All right,
Did I
lock it
convince
in.
you, Joe? Wait, Alley Cats are too high. What are we doing?
Yeah, they did just
I
get
know.
taken off, but
But they beat
And
Chicago.
that's coming from me.
they beat Chicago this weekend.
Yeah, but they got clapped by Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's top. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Fuck it. Oh God, we could be here all day.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait.
We need the thing
Here-
we did for the WUL, Joe, but like
Yep.
for the Central
Yeah,
Division.
but for the Central, okay, this Cats Pittsburgh game was fucking crazy. There were 14 turnovers. No, the Alley Cats had 14 turnovers, and Pittsburgh had 5.
That's awesome.
Pittsburgh had
Wow.
5 turnovers, one of which was a drop, one of which was an end of quarter huck. So they had 3 throwaways, one of which was from the D line. So their O line had 2 like normal turnovers. That is
Wait,
so insane.
The D line only had 1 turnover.
Yeah, well, because
I mean, still 5 in general across the whole team.
yeah,
That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
yeah, and then the
Well,
Cats
damn.
Chicago game, the Cats only had 7 turnovers, and Chicago had 8. Cam Brock had 75 completions. He's been working on his throwing. I know.
There you go.
Also, there was a buzzer beater for a score in all 4 quarters of that game. Cam Brock had 2 of them, halftime and the game winner that he came down with.
It's pretty lit. That's one thing
all right.
that I think I like really stands out about just this league as a whole is the buzzer beater thing is so sick.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. All right, I have a wild idea, and I think we combine the bottom C with top of D, or the D tier, because the Rush clapped Pittsburgh, so I think they got to move up. The Growlers are playing close game, like they're not
Oh, the
winning.
Growlers are kind of
I was
solid.
just about to say that.
But they're
Like,
playing close games week after week. Like they just lost by 1 to Seattle. So did the Aviators. They had a game where I thought they might be able to like keep it close with Salt Lake.
You're saying they should all be C?
I think they should all be either maybe we just get rid for the cleaner aspect, we get rid of C and they're all D. But I don't like moving the teams down. But I think those 5 teams
Aviators
I would categorize together.
Aviators should go down, honestly. Like that's
Well, they could just go
okay.
to the bottom of these 5. But like, so what do you guys think about joining the tiers?
We could just call it D, and that counts as the Aviators moving down.
And Phoenix moves down. Love
Or we
love
could
that.
call it C.
Yeah.
CDs.
CDs.
CD ROM.
Nice.
There you go.
There we go.
Well, hold
Like-
on. I don't
like
think I don't know
that?
about bottom. I think Aviators are still better than the Growlers. Didn't they beat the Growlers?
They also were up on the Cascades at the start of the 4th quarter. It was a
What
1-point
about like
game.
that kind of thing?
The Growlers are like so close to not being worse than the Aviators, but they're really evenly matched. The whole West is really close. Like the fact that Seattle's that high up, I think it's just because they should get rewarded for just continually edging
Yeah.
out those teams. But the West is like pretty close. And
Yeah.
by the way, I didn't touch on this, but like the Summit, so they beat Seattle, right, at Colorado. So, you know, you got to give the edge to them, but like the Hustle could have beaten the Summit by more with like how many turns the Summit's O-line had, and the Hustle defense just like would bomb these Hucks, like these bad Hucks. But like if they actually like were stingier with it on their D-line like offense, they could have beaten the Summit by like more, you know. The Summit were giving it up. So I don't know what's going on with the Summit, but Seattle's like coming for him, honestly.
I was gonna say I was like kind of pleasantly surprised by the Summit. Like, not in the way that I thought that they played really well, but in the way that they played a game that made me think that they have the capacity to win that game if they play their absolute best. And I agree that they kind of gave it away, but I don't know. They were like 2 for 15 on breaks. If they go 5 for 15 on breaks, that's like 3 more scores. And if they're like a little bit stingier with the disc, like I think they could hypothetically win that game if they're at their best. So like I wouldn't say like I'm pleasantly surprised that they looked so good, but I think that they looked like they could be better and they could have won that game in a alternate universe.
Yeah, I see that. Like you're getting break opportunities, but like it just kind of doesn't matter if you can't punch them in, you know, like, and they didn't. So like maybe what problems are there that they're not able to punch in more breaks? You know what I mean? Like you could spin it the other way and be like, well, they're not capable of capitalizing on when the other team's making mistakes.
For sure.
And their offense, they seemed like they just were, I don't know, kind of lackadaisical out there on some of their throws. So I don't know. I was a little like they need to tighten some stuff up if they're gonna, and the shred have already like kind of passed them. They have all this potential, but like if they're not gonna tighten things up a little bit, then you know they could slip to like the 3rd best team in the division real quick. So I don't know. I'm worried for them. I'm a little concerned.
I agree. The Summit have this aura of them because their first season they just ran the West and went undefeated until championship weekend, and it was like, oh, Colorado, of course, they got Nethercut, they've got all these athletes, they're gonna be good. And then last year, like Salt Lake figured it out, and Colorado kind of like took a step back. And this year, like I have yet to see them be dominant against a team. Even when they played Seattle, I was like, I don't see dominance here. Like it was kind of close-ish and they were like getting breaks or whatever. But like when they play Salt Lake, when they play the hustle, like their D line makes these bad mistakes. Their O line like doesn't look like the O line of 2021 or whatever it was, and like it's not the same team it was, and they're like the reason they're bottom of B is because they're just not as good as they used to be, and they have this aura, and that's why we want them to be high, but they're just not playing to it.
Yeah, agreed. And there is potential there for them. Like they could I could see them like, figuring it out and turning it on and going on a run. They could make championship weekend and I wouldn't be surprised, but like I just just based on what I've seen, like they're slipping a little bit. So I don't know. We'll watch. I'm keeping my eye on them. Is that the tier list? Is there anything else?
I have two comments. First of all, Montreal beat Toronto.
Ooh.
So should I just
Oh
have
yeah,
them there?
they're better than
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
I think we were waiting for them to get a win before moving, and
Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
they got the win.
Is Toronto in the middle there just because they beat Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
Yes.
like clapped Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know what the Aviators Aviators and Growlers, like, again, they're in that sort of clump of the West where like nothing's that far off, but they just haven't gotten the wins. So
I feel like the Aviators are probably better than the Rush, but the Aviators are 1-3, and I just can't like give you the benefit of the doubt. So
yeah, you
What
gotta
about Rush.
fair question.
The
Rush are
Rush's
1-4.
win- The Rush's win was just better. The Aviators' win was against Portland.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I have two more things. One is Rascals against Detroit. The Rascals had 18 turnovers and also 18 blocks. So that's crazy. And then my second thing is much more real. I'm officially putting Carolina on fraud watch.
Oh,
Yeah, they win and they play fucking sloppy. Their game with Austin, they were like 93% and Austin was 92%. So like they outplayed a team not playing very well. And like every single one of their games, they have like 16 to 20 turnovers. Like against Dallas, they had 18 turnovers in their second game this week. So I'm putting them on Frog Watch officially.
Wow.
Watch. Man,
That's
that
huge.
S tier is looking mighty like a Salt Lakes tier. Not that far off.
Oh, and then last thing, were we too mean to Austin here?
No.
Oh, I also wanted to say that. Maybe.
No.
what have they done this year?
They lost the Union.
They're 3-2. Hustles are 3-2. I don't know.
Did they beat Carolina or the Hustle?
No, they beat the Havoc and the Legion.
Well, then they're fucking frog watch.
Yeah, Ribbit.
Frog Watch. I think they're maybe better than the Spiders, though.
I think they might be also.
All right, that's fair.
I don't know what the Spiders have even done.
Spiders
I'm actually
confuse
gonna
me.
The
look
Spiders beat and lost to Seattle. They beat the Aviators and they beat the Growlers or Nitro or something.
Yeah. All they did was they beat the Aviators. So when we split up the C tier, which we had the Aviators and the Spiders in, we put them above. But now that we've combined it to like a CD-ROM,
I beat Portland by 1.
yeah. Now
They beat Seattle by
I don't know what to make of this
they're the
team.
same. They're the same as I would really clump all these teams. These three.
do we just drop them down to CD-ROM and just have Austin by? I don't mind having Austin by themselves, to be honest. They're kind of like their own little team that like is good but plays.
I don't
terrible.
necessarily think Seattle's better than them, but I might just be a hater.
Seattle's also confusing.
I don't want to touch the Spiders yet. I feel like we don't know who they are yet, but they have a winning record, and I just don't want to. I feel like winning record gets you. You can be in C.
CD-ROM.
You can be above Central.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but yeah,
Wait.
I don't know. Some of these Central. I don't know, but maybe they're.
It's really confusing. Should we break up Central? Like maybe we should make some decisions. You know?
No, that's not our.
I don't think we know enough. I don't think we know enough yet. I need to see more
Definitely
games.
not.
I need to. I need to see like the spider. I don't know what I need to see.
Wait,
I don't
I'm
fucking
sorry.
know, man.
Hold on. Why is Seattle in B? This is crazy. What
I
the
don't know.
hell?
They're 5
Why
and
is he-
2.
Why is Seattle in B? Who cares? They beat the Growlers. They beat the Spiders. They lost to the Spiders. They lost by 4 to the Summit, who they're right next to. They beat the Nitro. They beat the Growlers by 1. They beat the Aviators by 1.
You raised a lot of good points.
I think it's the way that they like won their games. Like they looked kind of hot. Like at least at the start, it was like, oh shit, they're actually legit. Like their stars were kind of popping off. I don't know.
We had a guest on who was high. It was Anderson. Anderson was high in
Yeah.
Seattle, and then they
He
won.
was.
And they won, and we came back and we were like, oh, I guess we got to move him up,
Yeah.
I think maybe they go down.
move him to C.
Yeah. They
Below
they're
Austin.
1 and
They
1
won,
with
and we're moving
1
them
and 1
down.
with the Spiders, and they lost to the Summit.
Okay. Put
There's
them
there's
above.
been so much movement. Like I don't think they. I do feel like the West is still very much Shred, Summit, and then the Clump, and the
Yeah.
Summit are nearing the Clump. They're like making their way down there, but they're definitely still removed from it. Which
Yeah. Okay.
if
We'll
we're
put
in the spirit of tiering, like there is a distinction.
Seattle in between Austin and Oakland. Does that feel right? Because
Yeah,
I
That's
still
fine
feel
with
like
me.
they're better than Oakland.
Love it.
That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
I don't want to
That feels
disrespect
right.
Austin that much, I guess. They're 5 and 2. Like that means something. But yeah, you're right, Joe. Like kind of frog watch too. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't even call it Frog Watch. I think they just were never. And so
They're not even a frog.
they can prove it. They can prove that they're worthy of being on the Frog Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they haven't like lost terrible games. Like they lost to the Spiders by 1 and they lost to the Summit. So like I don't have any reason to say that they're like bad. I just haven't seen anything that makes me think that they're like good.
Mhm.
See,
If
my only
they
problem
played the
now is that
Breeze, I
like
don't think it would be close.
now it's like a nice
It's the bell
parabola, which
curve.
bothers me.
Yeah.
It's
That's next.
Not a
shifted.
parabola, but
It
a normal
shifted
curve.
over 1.
Yeah. We at least
Yeah.
have it weighted a little bit.
That's
Well-
also just because of Central Tier. Like, if Central Tier didn't exist, we'd probably have to like move these teams into like B and C, and then it wouldn't. No, it still probably would. I don't know.
Should we put another team into Central?
Philly?
I don't even know who deserves it the most. Maybe.
Philly, maybe.
Bottom of Central might be more disrespectful than top of CD-ROM.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
about it.
being at the top of a tier, at least it's like we're acknowledging that you're the best of like a group. But if
Yeah.
you're at if they're at the bottom, it's like, oh,
You're
all
like
these are
the
better than you.
afterthought, you know.
It's
Yeah.
like we're telling them like Philly would lose to all these Central teams.
Yeah.
All right, we can really even it out if we, but that's not
Oh,
right.
no.
No, F is. Should we name F like? Because this is this is just for like, okay, like
Taxes.
Fuck.
like it's like it's just Havoc and Dallas just like, okay, you guys are like, they're like in their own league almost. Like they just play each other a bunch of times and like just
Yeah.
do your thing. You guys be happy, do your
They
thing.
call it the UTA, the Ultimate Texas Association.
Oh, but we
Or,
also have
What about
Austin.
Ultimate Texas
Corpus.
Institute?
Nice.
All right.
All right,
Let's
I'm
do it.
open.
I'm
I'm
open,
open.
baby. We're so back.
I'm open. I'm
I'm
open.
open.
Hey, shout out us because we're open.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are.